Master of Puppets é uma das músicas mais populares do Metallica. Foi lançada em 1986, e é ouvida até os dias de hoje, aparecendo inclusive numa cena da série Stranger Things, que é um sucesso da Netflix. Nesse vídeo, os integrantes do Metallica revelam de onde veio o riff da música, e falam sobre as primeiras vezes em que tocaram ela. E lembrando, caso você queira adquirir alguma dessas belas camisetas do Metallica, confere os primeiros links da descrição.
It's a blessing and a curse.
And when you say ideas, could it just be a riff? Like when you do Master of Puppets, who brought that riff, if you will, to the session?
That's I think that was James's back.
That was yours, James? Do you remember? You don't,
He's like, okay, if you say
is that
so.
true? Is your memory shot that you don't remember?
It's pretty bad. And as far as that stuff goes,
Yeah.
I don't know if it matters so much.
Why?
Well, it's still living, and it's its thing. It was a contribution to whatever it was.
But I saw the greatest movie where Jimmy Page is talking about how he came up with the riff for Cashmere.
The one with Jack White in it also.
Yeah, I
great,
love that. I love that. I love to know about that. So when you've got a song that's as popular as Master of Puppets, you don't recall coming up with the riff?
In our band,
I'll tell you.
I think in our band, it's always been about the collective. You
Right.
know, a lot of those guys back in those days, in the 60s, 70s, they all were about themselves, so they were their own entities. They were all autonomous. We've only ever existed within a group setup.
In that movie where you're talking about, I think it's cool, you know, Jimmy remembers what he was influenced by or not by, and here's what I was thinking and all of that. Maybe he remembers it. Maybe it's just a cool story.
Yeah. Right.
Either way, it's great.
Yeah.
But I do remember playing Master of Puppets in the stinky little garage in Carlson with.
What year was that?
85.
Yeah. Do you feel like that's going to be one of your legendary tunes when you're kind of doing that, or you just don't even know?
God, it's weird. It's weird to think, you know, we're up there playing Master of Puppets, screaming and going fast, and there's some little kids down in the front going, Master! And I'm thinking, what?
What?
Really? You like this?
Because you remember what it was like to come up with that, and you don't even, when you write a song, you don't know that somebody's going to resonate with that, right? It's such a mystery. It doesn't matter how big the band is.
31 years ago, it's crazy.
Do you ever feel...
You can try and figure it out, but it never works that way.
So what's the key to being a great band? You just got to go with your heart and say, this sounds good to me, right?
Yes.
You can't try to predict what the public is going to like.
We've always hovered on the outer fringes of all that stuff anyway, like we were just talking about with radio and all. So we've never had to sit there and try to figure out how to write, quote, a hit or something that's part of a sound or any of that.
That's what I think I admire most about Metallica. When I think back on your career, I think very early on you guys could have gotten very, I guess, self-conscious or kind of questioned the band, because the songs weren't hits, and let's face it, it is a business. You got to be able to make a living. But you didn't buckle, you know. You didn't change your sound at all.
It's also because I think all of us, in our own ways, have always felt kind of like outsiders, and we've never felt like we were part of the sort of the cool kids, or we were all loners and outsiders and disenfranchised, and always felt like we were kind of living in our own world and our own bubble.
So does it feel weird now to be accepted? Like you guys are considered a major touring act?
I still feel like we always hover on the outer fringes, that we're never part of the establishment. It's something that I still personally fight with.
We can always find something that we hate or they hate.
What,
and it influences the next thing.
That hate will fire you up.
Absolutely.
What was that?
That was even the beginning. We were writing music that we wanted to hear because the stuff we were hearing, we hated it.